On the phone, Cindy Hyde-Smith, U.S. Senator. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning. We're doing great, Paul. Sitting here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, ready to start a new day.
You're on the coast, so you were at the opening for the aquarium, were you not?
I was last Friday. We were there. I've got me a little tour before then.
Yeah.
An awesome venue for the Mississippi and the Gulf Coast. We've been really busy, so I was back yesterday and have a big day planned today. I going to the Armed Services Retirement Center and headed over to Jackson County to meet with some economic developers, and been touring some ships last week down here, so we're working hard.
September 3rd is where we are now. When do you head back to Washington?
Right now it's supposed to be September the 8th on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been having conference calls every morning, literally, with the White House. And so, we're being able to get a lot of work done through the conference calls, and all the Republicans are on that call, and just trying to get together a plan, get together some relief legislation, and trying to work constructively from home and doing all the Zoom and the Skype that we can.
Yeah.
But, it is difficult. The House Democrat leaders, they want a $3 trillion package, and that's just not going to fly. So we have got to be very prudent. But, we're looking at something less than $1 trillion because, we're addressing school safety, child care centers, the liability protection. There's so many things. And, of course, the vaccines, testing, and the treatment for COVID, and the Paycheck Protection Program for those who have to literally have it to continue to stay in business. So we're just looking for something that's very transparent and like we do, something that's logical, something that, anything is going to add to the national debt, and I am so conscious of that. So, we're working hard.
I got to tell you, it's one of those things where if you're responsible at that position and also a responsible voting citizen, you have to understand when you look back and see that $600, and then I mentioned this on the air earlier, coming back from the coast and the opening of the aquarium. So many businesses out there, just every business, it seems, on every block is begging for people to return to work. And instead of $600, the president said $400. And, of course, did that with executive order. But they were just holding out for billions and billions for the post office and this mail-in balloting, to which Bill Barr said yesterday, we're playing with fire if we do that as far as mail-in voting.
That is just a way to cheat. We have mail-in voting now when you need to vote early if you're over a certain age, if you have a medical condition, you can't get there. We have absentee voting now for students, for service members. But, Mississippi, we're gonna keep this thing on the tracks, and we're going to do it logical. We're going to do it in a manner that we don't have to worry about extreme cheating.
Yeah. Did you
have a fair election?
Have you heard anything? There was a bill that they had presented to the Republicans and the Democrat, coming from the Republican leadership, as far as another stimulus package, and I forgot who put that forth, but basically said that they felt like they could get 40 or 50 different Republicans and enough Democrats on board to get that passed if Schumer would let it go. But you have any updated information on that?
Well, that is exactly what we're working on. There is a use package for COVID relief. And because, emergency spending just adds to everyone's bottom line. And we're trying to help out those, just like the schools. They're going to have to continue to have so much equipment to keep these children safe. But the Democrats, Paul, they don't want to vote. They do not want anything until after the election. And, you can meet and meet and meet, and you realize that their goal is to not have a vote. They're going to disagree with everything. But we have the opportunity to put together a really good package. Hopefully we'll have 50 Republicans on that package. And, get it out there. Let's pass it through the Senate where we can. put it in the face of the House members and let them answer to the people why they're not helping them.
Do you feel safe when you're in Washington now? Has it changed dramatically from when you first went up there?
Well, when I first went, we had Kavanaugh, and that was pretty contentious at many times. And during impeachment, it was pretty contentious. Right now, at that point, we did not have mobs that are waiting at the entrance that they know you're going to exit at. And going back, we're going to have extra security. I mean, Rand Paul, he was just accosted coming out. And so many other people that has not even been reported. They were harassed and really were feared for their life before they could get into their car or get into the cab or get away. But, that was a concentrated effort with everybody there at the White House for the president's speech. Hopefully when we get back and we're not all in a known location at one time, some of that can be avoided. We're just going to have to be careful at the airport going in Tuesday and just be, cautious for what's going on. If you see something about to escalate, make the proper adjustments, get out of there, make the moves, get the security there that we can address that. But I'll be honest with you, there's times that, it has been very much a concern to me.
Well, your family has got to worry about this, and as a matter of fact, any other member of Congress, because, what is bubbling now, and there's all these rumors about the siege of D.C., and I know you've heard about that, but, what is coming, a lot of people are worried about that in these final days before the election.
Yeah, it truly is. It's a mob, and they're not logical thinkers. They're there to intimidate you. They're there to make you feel uncomfortable. And they have gotten in my face. They have screamed at me, even from my apartment to the Capitol when they picked me up. We have to be so careful because we had somebody run beside the car. But it doesn't happen a lot. And you just have to anticipate when there's a hot issue on the Hill and emotions are running high, that is when it's going to happen. But, we have great Capitol Police. We have great Secret Service. And, you just have to be smart about it and be aware. But, my family does worry about me. They say, Cindy, you just can't go anywhere by yourself. But that's, part of the temperament building up to the election. And, I've been around a long time, Paul. Yeah. I've encountered a lot, so you just have to use your head and think smart.
The speaking of the being smart, anything happening? Well, smart is when you're a farm girl, you know how to handle some of the animals, and that places you with some experience in Washington D.C.
My staff has pretty much gotten used to me.
Yeah.
In fact, Doug Davis tells some funny stories of, when people come up and get in my face. I'm just not one to take that lightheartedly. If you want to tangle, you pick the right one. But, it's just not a place for it. But, sometimes you have to defend yourself. Sometimes you have to let them know, guess what, I am coming down this hall no matter what. And we're going to go about our business. You're not going to interrupt me. And the screaming and your GoPro camera, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our job.
A couple of other topics here as far as any legislation affecting the farm industry, anything happening there that we need to know about while we have you on. Can you hold on? We'll get to that and a couple of other things. While we got a quick break here, a couple of words yesterday from Fauci that it looks like people are pushing the vaccine even faster than we originally thought. Here's what Dr. Fauci said yesterday.
We have at least 5 or 6 candidates that we, the federal government, are involved with one way or the other, directly or indirectly, in a major way. I cannot imagine that we are not going to have one or more, likely more successful candidates among that group that we're involved with. It is conceivable that if you get enough infections in the trial that you will get an answer. But I've always said that I will not be satisfied unless we know that it is safe and effective.
You leave, you lose. More Gallo Show buzz next.
All right, back to U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, and I thank you for joining us, ma'am, live from the Gulf Coast where she is there working and meeting with people. Any updates as far as the ag is concerned? Overseas business, farmers update, anything going on as far as the ag department is concerned?
Well, the CARES Act that we enacted in March, it did provide support for ag producers that were impacted by COVID. And, it was a lifesaver for a lot of people. It was like a little over $20 billion total, and $9 billion in direct appropriations to Sonny Perdue, the Secretary of Ag. And what we established, Paul, was the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program, we call CFAP, and it would allow USDA to actually get food distributed to the public. Mm-hmm. And, they, just like on the Gulf Coast, right now we've got $30 million for them to buy shrimp. And you've seen the USDA locations, and, part of my church in Brookhaven, we've been part of that distribution and all over the state that we can get food out there. So, yes, we are looking at that for farm support, just to keep ag long-term viability in this country, which is very important to me. At first, USDA announced that catfish would not be a part of that, and we got that changed. I went to the table and I said, hang on, guys, Mississippi's the number one producer of catfish. This has got to be a big part of this. And it was a big win for Mississippi catfish farmers and producers because, everybody has something to offer around the table, and I certainly want to take care of my producers. I am the senator from Mississippi, and I will always be there to speak on their behalf.
I got to tell you,
catfish in there.
The trade, the whole trade narrative with China right now has got to be up in the arms. I'm up in arms. I don't know how in the world it's got to be chaos there. How do you make any long-term deals with these people right now?
Well, that is interesting, and I have negotiated ag deals in China and Hong Kong, Shanghai, and different places there. So it is much different. We were definitely asking them to buy products from the United States. It's different now, and that's okay. We're going to deal with that. It will be sorted out when we get down the road because, like we say, we call it China 19 right now instead of COVID-19. So that is a sensitive subject with me.
Well, it is, and somewhere down the line, they've got to pay for this. We can't owe them all this money, and they have ruined us. They've tanked our economy, and that's a whole story that's going to be played out. Yes. Certainly, but if Donald Trump wins.
I want my pound of flesh.
There you go.
I want my pound.
Well,
I do want to talk a minute about the pumps, the Yazoo backwater pumps, if we can do that. We're in constant contact with the Corps of Engineers and EPA, and the Army Corps right now, we're working through the public comments. We had the public comment period, and it was collected through, I think, somewhere around mid-June on the new supplemental environmental impact statement that we had to get done and report for the pumps. So there is an October goal to complete that report and to release it to the appropriate agencies and the public for, further review and comment that they want to make. But, Paul, this looks really good. I remain very hopeful that the Army Corps will decide in early 2021 to move forward and start constructing those pumps. So this is a very positive thing. We are on track. We have bird dogged this like nobody's business. And, the biggest concern I have there, obviously, because, I have a great relationship with the president, we've gotten this moved forward, but his reelection, it could be pivotal to, becoming a reality. So we've got to get this president reelected because we're on such a good track right now with the Yazoo pumps. Not saying if the president were to lose this election that the pumps would go away.
Yeah, but I could see one member of the Sierra Club standing up and saying something, and the Biden people would listen to them instead of 3.5 million people in the state. So
yes, but I did want to get that out there, is that things are going very well. And, but I can assure you it's been with a lot of hard work. It's been a lot of just knocking on doors and saying, have you got this done? Yes, you will listen to me, and follow up. Our staff in D.C., Daniel Ulmer, has been just so diligent in following these things up. The entire staff has, because that's been a very important priority for me.
Well, look, be careful when you head back there. Again, there are all these rumors about there are going to be literally tens of thousands of Antifa people there, and they're going to rip the White House apart, and all these things are talked about. And I don't know. I just think it's going to. I think it's going to get even if it's possible to do that, get even nastier before the election gets here.
Yeah. Well, thanks. And we've got good security. And, I'm not a big scaredy cat, but I know that you have to be safe, and you could get hurt so very fast. And I've encountered that when I really did think I was about to get hurt. Yeah. So, we're going to be really cautious. Thanks so much for the concern. Thanks for the opportunity to be with you today.
Safe travel, and we thank you, the U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith.